Good evening. Thank you for being here. It's a special concert. We haven't been on stage since, I believe, 2019. And we've had such big choirs and bands that it's tough to be anywhere else other than the gym. So thank you so much for being here. The choir is going to do a pops concert for you tonight for Music in Our Schools Month. We actually started Music in Our Schools Month this morning with our solo ensemble contest. And so, to recognize a few amazing students that were down at stand-up performing, when I call out your name, you can give a little wave to the audience and all of that sort of good stuff. We had Dylan and Charlie doing a duet. We had Naomi and Cora also doing a duet. Grace and Hannah also did a duet themselves. We had a bunch of soloists. We had Grace Wyland, Hannah Lundgren, Leslie Young, and Jim Bird. Everybody who performed today did a fantastic job. Everybody scored within either a superior, the highest rating, or an excellent, the second highest rating. So it's great to see so much dedication amongst these students and putting that together. So for tonight, we have a lot of soloists in our Grease medley. We're going to feature Alex Hyman, and I will see you after that song.
Those
We're going to slow it down for the next one. It's an amazing cover of a Bob Dylan tune. It's going to feature Tori Backus and Dylan Baker. ourselves set up for jazz dance. We're going to take probably a couple of minutes if you need to use the restroom, or scarf down those last kernels in the popcorn bag, or get some more popcorn. Now's a great time to do it.
welcome to the last 2/3 of our program. I am Mr. Timberley, and this is the Dell Rapids High School Jazz Band. We do have a contest coming up this month at USD. We'll go down to Vermillion on March 24th. We actually just got the time to perform at today, so we were supposed to perform at 10:25 at Vermillion on the 24th. That last tune was Doxy, Sonny Rollins' tune, featuring Avery Cole on trumpet. And we also have Hannah Grindy and Eden Jones on saxophone. Our next tune is going to feature Alex Hyman, who you heard sing before. He's playing flugelhorn now. I don't think he wants to sing. And we're also going to have a short solo from Eden Jones as well. But this is I Remember Clifford, which is dedicated to a former jazz trumpet player who passed away, and other jazz artists wanted to write a tribute to him. So this is I Remember Clifford. last tune for the jazz band before we switch it over to the concert band. This is our last tune from our contest set. It is called Little Sunflower, Freddie Hubbard tune. We have a few different instruments featured. We have a little bass solo that kind of carries through a lot of the song, played by Dylan Berg. We also have a piano solo by Caleb Jaycox. Trombone solo by Dylan Aker. Saxophone solo from Messiah Lau. And a drum solo from New York. Here is Little Sunflower. moment as we make one last transition for the evening before we have concert band. So thank you again for coming out tonight and supporting these awesome students, supporting the awesome choir that we heard a little bit ago. I hope you are having a great start to your spring. It actually feels like spring a little bit this week, which is super nice. So we'll be back in a moment. We do have one last tune as we transition. Remember, we have a piano feature for Caleb Jaycox. He asked to play a short piano solo for us. So he's going to, do you have anything to say about it, or he's going to play? All right, he's just going to play. So here is Caleb Jaycox. Portion of the evening, we're going to perform some music around the theme of light and dark. Richard Saucedo, the composer of this first piece, had a lifelong dream of becoming a pilot. As a pilot, he says, you join the ranks of those less bound by conventional limits on time, distance, and personal freedom. You take off to wide open skies in any direction on the compass. But more than that, it's freedom as you've never known, far from the commonplace. Finally, being a pilot symbolizes individualism and self-reliance. You are in control, and you make the choices. There's nothing like the experience of flight, except possibly the experience of music, and I hope the enthusiasm of both can be found in this piece. As he wrote the music you're about to hear, he was just a few weeks away from receiving his pilot's license and pursuing his instrument rating that would permit him to fly into the clouds.
In a moment, we are gonna take a different kind of ride. We travel from the light of the sky to the dark recesses of long-forgotten midwife, Erica Sabanos. The haunted carousel uses a theremin to recall images of old science fiction and horror movies, and the whole band gets a turn to play somewhat demented versions of carousel melodies. Xander, would you mind playing some of the theremin part for us? If you listen closely at the end, you will also hear who is haunting the carousel and why. Speaking of theremin, carousel melodies, we need your help with some singing.
Yeah, so as Bella said, thank you, Bella. As she said, there are a few demented melodies going through. We need some help sounding really demented tonight. So if I would ask the clarinets to find where we're at measure 53, I believe it is. We're gonna have them play so you can hear what we're gonna sing. And you sing on law. Can everybody say law? Awesome. All right, clarinets. We're gonna play at 53. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Sounds like you're on the playground at recess time, right? La, 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 right? Maybe? Okay. Let's sing while they play this time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, ready? Awesome. Now you guys don't have to feel so bad about singing by yourselves because they're joining you. All right. So, as Bella said, this is Eric Solano's The Haunted Carousel. Salvation is Created is by Russian composer Pavel Chesnikov. It was originally a choral work composed in 1912 meant for use during communion. It was one of the very last sacred works he composed before he was forced to turn to secular arts by the Soviet government. Although he never heard this composition performed, his children had the opportunity to in the years following his death. This transcription by Bruce Hasselneck is incredibly similar to the original choral arrangement. It begins in the key of C minor and progresses to E flat major. For those who don't understand music theory, the general idea is that we're moving from darkness to light, from peril to salvation. Before I introduce the last of the evening, I want to say once again, thank you for coming out tonight. We hope you enjoyed this performance. As Mr. Michael Sheck said, and as I said in my email over the weekend, this is Music in Our Schools Month. It's a time where we hope that we can celebrate all the awesome things that our students and students across the state, across the country get to do in music education in our schools. So I really appreciate all these students. I know they have to be patient with me, probably as much or more than I have to be patient with them. So I really appreciate all the hard work that they put in. They also teased me a little bit. I did fall last week in class. They tricked Mr. Denning into showing them the video of it. So they're still looking for the full tape. But anyway, once again, thank you for your support. Thank you for coming out. As it says in the program, there are many thank yous beyond this, but it's great to be able to share music with you guys on a regular basis. So, our last piece, March Diabolic, is a march, but perhaps not uplifting or rousing like a Sousa or a Carl King. March Diabolic by Brian Balmages borrows elements of the traditional march and makes it a little demented with our use of the tritone. Its expansive, dark harmonic language is marked, menacing, and deliberate. The opening rhythm in the clarinets becomes the foundation for the entire work and remains so constant while everything else around it evolves. We're going to fall back into darkness for our last piece. We thank you for coming out. We will have another performance, a concert in April, as well as a large group contest at Harrisburg. Those are coming up. Large group contest is April 22nd, and then our final concert for the year is April 28th for high school band and choir. So thank you again. Is it weird to be on the stage? Is it pretty warm right now? It's pretty warm, so, but thank you again.
Is it okay if we ask for help with chairs and everything? If you could help rack chairs, this is Silverdale is going to bring the rack out. We would appreciate it. It saves our soda staff, saves us a lot of time. Thank you guys for coming.